And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing FortressCraft Evolved, Frozen Factory. Well, I've been working. I've got so much to do. I've been clearing land towards each of the overmines in preparation for a Falcor system. But thus far, I've only got one corner. All my other corners are still pretty crowded and cramped. I'm not really at a point where I really need a Falcor system right away. There are quite a few drops over there. When I do get attacked, they do pile up. But for now, I'm going to ignore it. What I really would like to do is augment my resources. So this is another project that I have going on. I dug another hole for nickel, and I'm in the process of creating rack rails. Because this thing goes down so far, it really can't keep up, not even with 3 smelters. I did research the next minor upgrades. I've researched a couple things. I researched minor upgrades which allow us access to the ingredients needed for the more advanced items. Let's see. I'm seeing the Mark III, but I'm not seeing the Mark 4 or 5. I definitely want that. I'm gonna want the resin. I researched resin, so let's get those researched. Antimatter, I want that. Let's research the nano disintegrator. Was something he just added. It does disintegrate a 3x3 area underneath it, and it really destroys everything. So it's one way that you can dig straight down, even through ore. So it is handy. You would need a whole lot of them. It only goes down 3, so you need quite a few of those. And obviously we have all the queries that I added, the basic query with the game, and then all the rest are unlocked with that advanced minor upgrades. Now, for reasons unknown, let's see. Yeah, I've only got these 3 inductions. Why do I not have the rest of them? I ask myself. So these don't do it. That won't do it. Advanced storage is probably better. What? Yeah, this uses resin in the research. So resin is really what I need to do next, which is one of the reasons I researched it. Advanced crystal dynamics. Yeah, for some reason, maybe I think it might be this. Yeah, there they are, right there. Those are the 2 that I want. However, I'm not going to research this yet. So while my rack rails are building, I am going to see what I can do about a laser resin system. Now this system, let's see, where would those be? There it is. Refiner, liquefier. Where is the ablator? Is the ablator not buildable? Did I not see it? That's the thing you got to ask yourself right away, is maybe you didn't see it. Laser ablator, yep, there it is. So there we go. So these now use organic lenses instead of the sapphire lenses, which is really nice. It's a really, really nice change. So I've got a good supply of those organic lenses, because I've got 38 of the blue eyes, and what I want to do is I actually don't want too many of these to start. I don't have enough power to really process. I do have an area towards the next active hive And that is where I'm going to set up shop. So I'm just going to want one ablator, and I'm going to need a couple more ore extractors. So I have one ablator, I want one liquefier, and one refiner. And this is sort of a set and forget type of deal. The other thing I want to push plenty of power down to that area. I'm not going to be able to push as much as I would like, but it's going to have to do. I'm not sure if 5 lasers are going to do it. Luckily, the nickel that we are getting in is being put into these alloyed blocks. So I actually have quite a few of these ready to go. Thank goodness, because I'm going to need a few more of these. So let's find a turbine that I can use that's not maxing out right now. Because right through there, you can see right down there is a hole straight down towards a new hive that we can exploit. Okay, so what is the deal here? Yeah, this turbine is really not being used for anything at the moment. I would like to use some better batteries for this process, and they also require these alloy blocks, just not as many, so it's a good thing. So this one isn't really being used, so I can tap into this. I'm going to put a battery right there. I'm going to beam power. It's a little clustered over here, but it would be nice to be able to use. I'm going to try it for now, because I have quite a ways to go, and this is going to end right here, it looks like. Yeah, right there. So rather than fight that, I'm going to jog this out here, put a battery there, and then line it up right into here. So that is going to charge that battery, which will beam it this way and give it down to the bottom, which is going to be nice. Okay, so I should be able to get rid of this one. Should reach. And instead of using the blues, I have the new purples. So I'm going to beam this down right next to it, and then be able to land right on here. And let's see where it ends. I think I might be able to get away with right there. Oh, then I moved and broke at the same time, and that was a bad idea. Okay, so right there. Break that one instead. So this should connect. Yep. And it'll come down here. And let's take this one away. As you can see, this other hive actually was growing somehow. I don't know what was feeding it. I went around and checked, and there's nothing that indicates why this was being fed. Well, rather than mess around with that height, I'm just gonna go with this. So I came down here and used my excavator to sort of clear out an area, just to give myself a little bit of space. We are going to beam it that way. I'm gonna go right into the heart, beam it that way, and then using the new systems, I need the ablator first. Now this is not nearly enough power for this process, not even close. But it will just kind of process as I'm away, And eventually I'll get down to the kind of the core, which is way in there somewhere. There, oh, it's way down here. So you can see how high this goes. This thing really was growing somehow. I don't know how it was growing, but it was, and I need to rectify that. I don't want to destroy it. I don't want to blow it up, because I want to build a huge hive farming system around here. And really the only way to do that is to sort of dig down to the core and then base your farm around that, knowing that it's going to be growing towards your CPH. So this is going to grow up and out, just like you see this big tendril up here, and this one right there. These will all sort of try to reach, so be very wise to that. It looks like this has actually got a net positive amount of power, so these are actually pushing out 320 power. I don't have any lenses in there at all yet. Plus I'm only pulling from one turbine, and a turbine can only produce a little bit more power than these things, but I'm using that turbine for other things. So I'm going to need a lot more turbines before I'm going to be able to really expand this process. But while this is ablating, I'm going to add the liquefier right next to it, which will drop the power yet again. And this one actually needs a hopper. This will put in that resin that this liquefies. So this is actually liquefied resin. And wow, now that I've got this scanned, I want to actually scan all these blocks, because all the blocks, scan it. Oh, I didn't get it in time. You can scan all like the intermediate blocks as they're processing. So you've got hard resin, ablated resin, partially ablated resin, and then partially liquefied resin. And so that is what we are interested in. I'm going to put another battery right there, and as this fills out, this power will just get all used up in the ablation process. So I want to make sure we've got plenty of storage. And the other key component of this is the refiner, and this will only use power when it's refining. It's got a current, it's got 640 power internally, but it will only use power when it's refining. So I want to remove only and add only. Now, to keep it from growing still, I'm going to use tubes for this process. And first, let's put everything in there and then bring everything out here. So this is basically a 10-to-1 system. 10 of these equals one final refined resin, and it's a lot of power to get there. So just be knowledgeable that you're going to need quite a bit of power gen to keep up a really big system. In my private world, I have a resin farm that I basically push 30,000 power per second into, and I can grow a hive. I can grow it by 3,000 blocks at a time. I feed it 3,000 blocks, and it just cruises, and I can get several thousand liquefied resin out of it. So there's my first two refined liquid resin out of this system, which is awesome. As you can see, there's a third coming in, and we are good to go. This whole system will just sit down here. Now these only have a range of 16. So these will only go out 16 blocks in a circle. It's not segment based, it is range based. So they will only go out 16 blocks. So if you have a really big hive that you need to clean, like all this stuff up here, all this stuff is way further away than I can reach. So I'm going to have to figure out, and once this is done, sort of raise this up to get everything else. And then when you create your farm, you're going to need them all over the place to get all the little tendrils that peek out. So yeah, we're kind of hurting for power. The liquefier, you know, they have a buffer of 10,000 power, which is quite a bit. And the liquefier really uses, I think, the most power. I think this one, I think the ablaters are roughly twice as fast as liquefiers. I'm not 100% sure on that though. I'd have to really look at the code to see how long it takes. But the ablation has begun, and let's grab some more. Got quite a few now. Awesome. So let's jump out of here. This is enough storage for 1,000 blocks. Maybe we add one more just in case, because this is sort of a set it and forget it situation where there's plenty of blocks in here to process. It's a pretty thick area. There's a huge tin vein behind it, but yeah, there's a lot of blocks back here. So this thing is going to go for a while. I just need to let it run. Now that the turbine is out there, our threat level is going to go up. All the other things kind of cascade as you gear up your systems. And let's not forget the dead hive over here that I also need to sort of clean up. We've kind of got the carcass here, and the rest of it is down below. But this one was the early game, very close hive that started to grow. Okay, well, now that we've got some work done with this, I would need to figure out a way to power all of the new cargo lift, as well as all the rack rails. So the rack rails have been going this whole time, and my iron is still going. For some reason, this one, oh, it's out of power. That's why. So I've got quite a few rack rails down here. Let's see what I need to do about power. We got bugs coming in strong here. Spiderbot is doing pretty awesome against these smaller ones. He does a pretty good job. What is our threat level? 757. So yeah, he's got the Spiderbot cannon on him, which does 500 damage, which just about insta kills any of these bugs. But as you can see, the bug parts start adding up, and I'm going to need a Falcor system very, very soon. And now this turbine is basically maxing out. It's got a little bit of leeway, but pretty much is maxed out now. Because this is the one working on our resin system down there. The other project is to move the research down here. I think I'm going to use these 4 blank spots right here and have the lab right in the middle, and these are going to be beaming their power into the lab. And eventually I'll have a Mark III battery here and a Mark III or a Mark IV battery on either side for a good buffer, and then have a bunch of the processing of pods back here. Because we got quite a bit of research left to do, and I'd really like to get a leg up on that and get it going. So that'll have to wait till next episode. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.